Hey everybody, this is for CC Cycle 1, Week 8, New Grammar. Before I go over New Grammar though, I actually switched the schedule, and I started with tin whistle. So I started with art in order to teach dynamics so that I could use dynamics in my new grammar. So for instance, we'll start with math. We have to say, since I have the master's class, we have to actually say 15 times 1 is 15, 15 times 2 is 30, and so on. We can't skip count. So I used dynamics. So I would say, this time we're gonna say it in pianissimo. So, 15 times 1 is 15. So we would whisper it. Then we would actually move on to the next, like geography, and then we would come back to math, and we would just do every other because it gets so long with having to say every math fact. So that was math. Using the dynamics again. With history, I did, oh sorry, I'm on the wrong week, but that was for 14s. Tell me about the Age of Imperialism. So I wrote it out on a whiteboard, and I wrote everything in one color that I wanted them to say in one volume, one part of the dynamics. And then I would put a date, like maybe for all the dates, I had it in a different language. And I had them, then at the top I wrote green, let's say forte, and then blue writing mezzo piano. And then I switched that up each time. So I would take my erasable marker and I would, erase that every time they would go through. So it would be like, during the Age of Imperialism, the British established rule over India in 1858. And they loved kind of getting to scream and they thought that was a lot of fun. So that was history. For geography, I got this from Miss C on YouTube, and it's her, it's like where you say we're in the Bay of Bengal. I actually used little Lego men, and I handed them each a Lego man. And we are swimming around the tip of China, and then we are in the Arabian Sea, and we're swimming, but we're tired of swimming, and we want to dry off, so we're gonna go through the Indian desert, and we see the Himalayas, and they're so beautiful that we want to go up to the Himalayas. But before that, we have to get in a canoe and get our paddle, and we have to paddle across the Ganges River. Then we hike up the Himalayas, and it's really beautiful up there, but we're kind of hot again. So we decide, let's go for a swim again. So we hike down the Himalayas, go past the Ganges River, and then I kind of changed it up, and I said, do you want to float down the Ganges River to get to the Bay of Bengal, or do you want to go back the way that we came? And they all said they wanted to float down so they wouldn't have to swim at all. And then I just said, and what were the mountains that we went to, and where did we start at, and where did we dry off at? And I just kind of went through the other names so that I had some of them point out, and then I had them bring up their little Lego men and set it in their favorite spot that they saw during our adventure. Not that they saw anything, but they pretended. So a lot of them put it in the Bay of Bengal. I don't know why. A couple people put it in Himalayas. Okay, Latin, third declension, noun endings. Every single week I will hold up whatever declension we're on our fingers on one hand for singular, and then when I go to plural, we use two hands. So for this week, it was third declension, noun endings, and we just made a V. So it's kind of like the Star Trek, I think, a thing like that, but just with 3 to make a V. So, and then we did various, and then we did our knees for the sound for E. So various, is, em, and then for plural, we held up 3 fingers on either side. And for is, we did is, ibis, ace, ibis. We did, I'm trying to think, it was ace. So it was ace, That's how you say it. I was thinking it was ace. Ace for face, for room. Ace, ibis, ace, ibis, ace, ibis, ace, ibis. And every week I say, why am I holding up one hand? Why am I holding up two hands? Just to remind them that this is singular and plural. I hope I said that right. And moving on to prepositions, of, off, on, onto, out. So I always have my stuff set up on, I don't have a whiteboard that's great. So I have a big pad of paper and I just write them out. And you can see, because I need help with the hand motions, all my kids are really good at it, but I just put those little guys on there. I think it was from CC Connected somewhere. So of, off, on, and then like you're getting on a horse, onto, and then out. So of, off, on, onto, out. And then we just always get up and do that. I have one kid who's really good at it, and I have him come up and do it for the whole class for the whole song, because I never can remember all of them for the whole song. But then we always play the whole song either once or twice at the end, because they love to go through it all. Okay, and then what are some types of seed plants for science? One of the other tutors' moms, she had brought in a monocot leaf, and then a dicot leaf, and then I had a pine cone. And so I put those in a little bag. On the outside of the bag, I wrote, what are some types of seed plants? So I would ask that question, and then they would say some types of seed plants are, and then I would go to each person, and they would put their hand in, grab one thing out, and then they would name it. And they pull the second thing out, and then pull the third thing out. Tell them to pull each thing out. My kids kept putting them back in, and by the end they understood kind of what was happening, and so they would actually like pull them out, and they knew they were having to name them. But just say, keep it out, don't put it back in the bag, because you might just keep grabbing the same thing. Then I just put that in a little paper sack. Okay, and then timeline. I had told my kids they wanted to do musical chairs. So we did do musical chairs to the song, but I found it extremely difficult, and I will not be doing it again, because there's so many pauses in the song, and they did not know if I was pausing it or the song was pausing it, and so they kept sitting and people kept getting out, and it was really confusing. So I would not suggest doing that. We do a lot of Battleship, and I will probably do something similar next week, or I have another idea for next week, so I'll share that in another video. But I think that's it. So I guess if you have any comments or questions, put them below, and thanks for watching.